Welcome back to the Pittsburgh Pirates Rebuild. It is time to start the offseason, and I'm super excited about this. You can see we have 39 players on our 40-man right now. We need to jump into transactions just to kind of see some things that were done. We've renewed a lot of contracts, but you can see we placed Andrew McCutchen on outright assignment waivers. Yeah. I had to do it. So far in tendering contracts, everyone has had their contract tendered, with the exception of a few players. We have not offered one to Josh Palacios right now. Still debating if we're going to do that. If you come in here and make an offer, the minimum payment it looks like that he is looking for is going to be around $720. Maybe if we push this back, we can get him maybe for $650, but $760 is usually what I offer in these scenarios. We're holding off on that one for now. Jumping down here, we have Phineas Del Bonte Smith, who is a D overall. We're just going to let him walk. Helson as well, we're going to let walk. Shackelford's going to walk as well. Kyle Nicholas was one that's 27 years old, see potential at 59. Jackson Reese, we're going to let go, as well as Cameron Junker, even though he did well in the AA playoffs. I wanted to make sure we had enough roster spots available as we get into signing free agents. And we take a look at the depth chart here. It's showing, I forget where I could see that. Where could I see the total? Here we go. In this view here, 93 players, and I believe we can only hold 90. So we got our newest members. If we come into free agents and go to signed, we can see if we scroll down here. Oh, there's a lot in the way now. But there's Joel Geringer. He's joined the squad. He'll start his career probably in AA, but we'll get into that in a few. But right now, I do want to show you a little bit of what I'm using to organize this and plan out the offseason. And I will try my best to make this visible on the screen for you guys. I'm using an app called Notion, creating a custom table or database that I am keeping track of everyone in. And we're looking at our 40-man view here. It shows all 39 players that are on the 40-man roster. We have some cool stuff in here that are going to help us keep track of it. I have years of control. We'll try to zoom in on some of this stuff. And also, I have the amount of options they have left, the years of control, as I mentioned, all the secondary positions they could play, the current level of the team or the organization they're at in Major League, AAA, AA, or Single A. If we go to this view here, we get the full roster of every single player that is in our club. And I'm making decisions this way. So, 40-man, we're looking at that. I don't like the fact that we're at 39. So what we do is we can add some filters to this. As I come in here and I'll say, I want to know what we have options left. If we have 0 options left and 1 option left, and you're on the 40-man roster, who are those players? And so right now, and then let's, we can sort this as well. We're going to sort it by overall and descending so that the highest number is at the top. So Avedo does have only 1 option left. I'm going to drag this over here so it looks a little easier for us in this view right now. But we have some issues with Richie Palacios has 0 options left, and Josh Fleming has 0 options left. And if both of them are brought in to spring training, since they're on the 40-man roster, they're going to have to stay at the big leagues, or we've got to trade them or waive them. Because when we send them down to AAA, that's going to use one of their options. But we can also take this same view and look into just our starting pitching. And I have some notes here. None of them are really solid yet. I'm really still finalizing this, but let's go ahead and filter starting pitching by the major league level. And right now we have 6. We actually do have 7 because there's one change that I've made here that I haven't made in game. And during simulating and moving up to the offseason, the game decided that Salameto was on the major league roster. So if now we go to got that fixed, let's go and switch to the MLB roster. We have 25 guys on the roster right now, so we have 1 more roster spot available if we went with this group. But only having a total of 87 players on here, because that excludes the people we did not offer contracts to, and Josh Palacios was one of them, but Richie Palacios is still on the team. I get them confused a little bit. We jump back to the 40-man. Richie is the one with 0. 0 options left. He's a C potential. We have 5 years of control of him. He's a 73 overall. Some decisions will be made around that. But we come in here and now we can see, I just want to show a little bit more of me nerding out on this. We're looking at just our first baseman. Christian Walker, Kirilloff, Rodriguez, Mayo, Talbot, Rhodes, Eldridge. The list just goes on and on and on. And there are players that can play first, not necessarily their primary position, but if we added another filter for that, we could do that of position first base. And now we can see all the players that have primary position of first base. So I won't be showing this a ton in the video. We might come back to it a few times, but this is what I am looking at. And I have a list of keepers. The list isn't that huge yet. Let me get the filter set up on that. You know, we only have a list of 20 players that I am not willing to trade or let go at this point. And when they have 1 year left on their deals and they show up on this list, that means we want to probably extend them. So just want to give you some insight on how much of a nerd I'm being in running this. But let's get back to MLB The Show. So like I said, we did tender all the contracts that we need to. So some of these should be signed here in the next few days. Josh Palacios, we're going to say goodbye to. We got to get some roster spots open. We're still going to be pretty tight with, I believe, 87 people on the roster and wanting to sign potentially a couple free agents if we do want to do that or decide to do that. So, but next, before we get into actual free agency and taking a look at who's available on the market for us, let's go ahead and take a look at some of these arbitration players. Zawinski, I'm not sure if we're going to keep Zawinski. If we're going to trade him, we have to wait till the arbitration hearings. So let's go ahead and come in here. We're just going to offer arbitration, and I'm going to go at 810. We'll increase it just a little bit there. Moretta here is one. Oh man, I think we're going to do the same here. This is one that we might be doing for trade purposes as well. Zawinski, I'm not sure yet. Kirilloff, we definitely want to bring back. Let's offer him $2.5 million in arbitration. Edward Olivares, we'll do the same thing here, but we'll go to $2 million. And Bay will offer arbitration as well. We're going to hike that up to 810. See if we win any of these. Josh Fleming's one that, oh man, he was one that has no options. And I got to be honest with you, I'm not a fan of just letting people walk and not getting anything in return, even though we did do that with Gonzalez. Gonzalez is a free agent now. We did not make any deals for him. But if we look at the trade talk screen, things are looking a lot better already. The only weakness really is right field. Everything else is at least blue or green here. Looking pretty sweet. The next thing I want to do is jump in and take a look at our lineup here. We can see a missing player. We'll take care of that later. It has Olivares at first base. That does some strange things sometimes, but let's go from the top here and talk about if we think they're locks. Bay, no. I don't think Bay's a lock. I am thinking about potentially putting Bay in center field because of that speed. Arm's not terrible. Fielding could be a little bit better. On-base percentage of 317. I'm a fan of that. It's over 300. O'Neal Cruz isn't going anywhere. Reynolds isn't going anywhere. Left, shortstop, catcher, third base. Those positions are all locked in. We know those four are going to be there. The questions start after that. It's with second base, DH, first base, right field, and center field. All of these positions I am willing to work on the ability to make upgrades to the squad, as well as moving some people to kind of shore up the lineups and get us really into playoff contention this year. Well, let's just take a little look at what we have available to us at the top of free agency. We have 3 players that did get their qualifying offers made to them. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Kyle Tucker, and Zach Gallen. Bo Bichette is one that's there. We do not need a shortstop. Bo Bichette can't play anywhere else. Could bring him in as a DH, but I'm not all about that. Way too much money. Josh Naylor here, first baseman, 28 years old. Last year he batted .304. This is someone that does intrigue me. Can also play left and right field. If we look at the attributes, plays pretty decently in the field as well. .304 last year was a little bit of a decline. He's 28 years old. Someone we might keep in mind there. The first closer that pops up here was on our, I guess he was traded to Toronto, but he used to be with the Cardinals, and Toronto is offering him $40 million for 5 years. He's an 88 overall. The ERA was pretty solid last year. Looks like 31 saves, 4 blown saves. WHIP 124. Ks per 9, pretty good. Walks per 9, pretty good. Home, like, yeah, this is pretty solid. So that's something we might keep an eye on there. But after that, I'm not 100% sure. We could go after Devin Williams. That's a potential. Actually, a potential that I do like a lot. But yeah, closer. We're gonna have to really work on closer. I'm gonna go through a little bit of this, build out a plan, and I'll show you what we're gonna do for our first options. Available budget of 63 million with pending offers of 17 million. So our pending offers right now are 17 million, and on the books we have, is it 98 million on the books already? Available budget is $63 million. If we subtract the pending offers, I believe that's what we have available to us. And keeping in mind that the budget's important for our small market team, or smaller market team here in Pittsburgh. We decided to offer Helsley a 3-year contract, $30 million total. That'll be $10 million a year offered to him for a position that I feel like is more than needed. And yeah, so 5 years is not what we want to do. He is 31. With time that runs out, he'll be 34 years old. And hopefully that puts us in a nice sweet spot and buys us some time to find a long-term plan at closer. That is the weakest spot on the roster, in my opinion. I'm also somewhat debating making an offer here for 3 years as well, and maybe like 7.5 million or 7.6 here. We'll do $22 million. Contender not happy with, but if we throw that in there, we can't even compete. If we make that offer 4 years, 30 million, that puts us a little bit ahead there. But let's try to offer 4 years and 20. They did 28. Let's do 29. See, that puts them ahead of us in his suggestion. So 4 years, 29.5. We got to go to that 30 if we want to sneak in Devin Williams as well, and makes him a year older. But if we did a player option that year, that might interest him more. It does. So we do jump above them. Now we get 2 closers. One could be a setup man that could put Castro all the way back to middle relief and really solidify this bullpen. We're going to take a look at some other positions, if there's any other offers we want to make. Now I think we might have to play the long game for this, but I am going to offer 5 years, $57 million to Luis Ariz. I just can't resist. And he is a player that we could play at first, third, shortstop, or left field. The 2 positions or second base. The positions I'm really looking at are first base and left field, and switching Reynolds over to right field potentially, or DH. Ariz is a good player, and he's out there. Nobody gave him any offers yet. That's what I wanted to do. But we need to look at our roster, and I guess I don't know if I can cut players right now. I want to make sure we do have enough. So we know we wanted to, we'll just do that just to be safe. We're going to release Junker. We're going to release Jackson Reese. And then I'm going to go through my tendered contracts and make sure I find all the players. Junker, Reese, Nicholas. Okay, we'll be back. We're now at 87 players, and we have offers out to 3. So that should be good. We're going to start going ahead a couple days and seeing what these offers look like. And we'll see if we're in the running for any of these players. 40-man rosters must be set by tomorrow. Would you like to stop simulating? Yes, I would like to stop. Let's take a look at some of these players that we could potentially lose. Lonnie White. Oh, man. See, this is where it's going to get interesting. I need 3 spots for the players that are available. Christian Walker and Bryce Eldridge for potentially Nate Beltran. 22-year-old, 68 overall. Hasn't been to the big leagues yet. A potential. Stats look pretty good. Let's do a little research here. Can we not see? Oh, we can't see the top prospects right now. So that would free us up. That would get us to 38 players on our 40-man. But would that be somebody that's just going to come back to the 40-man? You got to think through this, because we'd have to release some players. Let's look at this 40-man roster. There might be one on here that we can release right now. There is not. I thought Josh was on the 40-man. But Richie Palacios, we have a lot of control over him, but no options left. Oh, man. But I believe as long as we have enough roster spots, we should be okay. What I'm going to do here, we're going to come in here, and I am going to center field. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at Lonnie White. See potential, 70 overall. What do we think? Year 5 eligible. He's 23. Yeah, I think it's time. We're going to add him to the 40-man. We're going to protect him. Everyone else, we're going to risk losing there. Bradfield Jr. might have been a better call. We'll take a risk losing him. Dylan Cease signs with the Rangers. First notable contract that pops up. Tommy Edman goes to the Mariners. So that's good. Kyle Tucker to the Giants. Names are starting to drop. The Giants have moved ahead of us in the Luis Arraez sweepstakes here. They get 3 years, $33 million. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to do 3 years. And we're going to do $12 million a year for 3 years with a 4th-year player option. That puts us ahead of him. I believe in this guy. I'm willing to spend a good amount of money on him, and hopefully we don't blow out the budget. But I do plan on moving Walker in this episode. That might solve that problem. Bo Bichette goes to the Marlins. Zach Gallen goes to Houston. Josh Naylor goes to the Yankees. Oh, no. Devin Williams is no longer interested. Would you? Yes, I would like to stop simulating. Luis Arraez is accepted. Gosh, dang it. Well, that didn't work out. So why is he not interested anymore? See, he's just not interested. He's still interested. Can we get him back in? So we did 4 years, 30 million. If we jumped in here and did 5 years, 35 million with a club option, he doesn't like that. 3 years, we go to that 7. Let's see how far we'd have to go to get back in this game. 8.5. That gets us back into it. 3 years, offering him less money, he's more interested. I don't think that's going to play out for us. Let's go to the draft lottery. We're projected to be 17 overall. And it looks like the Rockies move up to number 1. Nationals stay at number 2. The Mariners just having a great offseason. They moved to number 3. Wow. And free agency not going too hot for us, trying to get 2 closers, and I don't know if we're going to be able to close this deal. We have nobody here, but let's see if any of our guys get selected. I think we lucked out there. I think we did luck out. Devin Williams has accepted the Braves offer. Michael King goes to the Mets. Devin Williams to the Braves. We already knew that. We're going to go all in on Ryan Helsley here. Let's see if this improves our offer with him. 5 years, $56 million. We need a closer. And we got him. Let's go look at the pitching rotation right now. So as of right now, spring training could change all of this, but this is what we're looking at for our starting rotation here. Keller, Oviedo, Jones, Hernandez, and Harrington. And then as we work backwards, we have Ryan Helsley as the closer. We have Castro as the setup man, and a good amount in the relief, middle relief there. But we gotta get this all figured out here. Not the full team that we're gonna have in AAA or in spring training. I always call it AAA. So I would say we didn't do as much as I thought we would do, but we're not done yet. Christian Walker for right fielder Jordan Beck. He's in the high 50s for contact, mid to high 50s for power, visions in the 50s, discipline 47 could use some help there. Fielding not terrible. Is he an upgrade from Langford? Does he just give us some more depth? I think I'm going to try to find another player that we'll throw into this trade, and I think it's going to be Eldridge. I mean, it does limit us at first base, and that makes Kirilloff our everyday first baseman. What are we going to do here? What else could we give up? If we want to make this trade now or wait, I think we will wait till we get through arbitration. But we do have to make a trade. We have 41 on the 40-man, and I don't want to release anybody. Let's go ahead and head over to the Rockies. We're going to make that deal. Jordan Beck straight up for Christian Walker. Let's take a look at this guy a little deeper now. He automatically jumps to number 1 on our board for right fielders. And can we see, let's just jump in here for the fun of it, an 80 overall. So he is as low as you can be, and that's the risk. That's the risk. He's as low as you can be for a B, but I like where he's at right now. Freed up a lot of cash. We could have probably thrown someone else in there. I don't know. I'm sure there'll be iffy comments about that. But let's get through arbitration and work on a little bit more deals that we want to do. Will Smith to Toronto. And first day of arbitration, Josh Fleming, the arbitration panel sides with the Pirates. Hey, we won one. Bay's salary is going to be at $1.6 million. They sided with Bay. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. goes to the Dodgers. Edward Olivares, The panel sides with Olivares for $2.3 million. Moretta gets $820,000. Alex Kirilloff gets $3 million. Zawinski, $1.89. And is that should be all of those contracts at this point. Let's look at our budget. We still got money. We still got money. Max Keller, Reynolds, Helsley does jump up there as one of our highest paid players, but that $10 million from Walker is gone. And did you clear waivers? Like, what is the deal with that? McCutcheon did. He's not on our 40-man anymore. I thought we waived him. Cleared outright waivers, 7 days. Cleared optional waivers, yes. But we still have his money, and if we release him, it would cost us $2.3 million. We'd have to pay most of that. I guess he's going to chill here. He's just going to chill. Nobody wants him. He wants his money. At this point, we need to clear up at least 2 spots on the 40-man to be able to call up a couple guys I want to for spring training. Kind of learned our lesson about having a full 40-man and the lack of flexibility that gives us. We'll improve on that. But Fernando Acevedo here would be a very long project. He is older, a potential. This could be a trade piece long term. We are going to offer them Benny Arebu for Fernando Acevedo. Actually showed up in the trade finder. We're going to go with it. This next deal we're working on here is for Dylan Cruz, a player that I've used last year in MLB The Show and absolutely loved this guy on my team. Not sure he's going to pan out as well as he did last year, but it's a risk I'm willing to take because it was very enjoyable to have him. Like I said, one of my favorites going back to last year's playthrough. And yeah, Fleming, Zawinski, and I was flirting around here with giving up a lot. Moretta as well, and that freed up 4 spots on the 40-man if we do these 2 deals. The first one dropped us down to 39. This would drop us down to 36 players on the 40-man roster. And in turn, Cruz would take 1 spot and put us back to 37. But is it an upgrade from Zawinski? I think it is, personally. It may not be the first year out, but long-term, I think it will be, and this could be our long-term plan at center field. Doesn't have a ton of speed, doesn't have as much power as Zawinski has from the left side of the plate against right-handed pitching, but we haven't really seen that from Zawinski either. I personally think it's time to move on from Zawinski and Moretta and Fleming, and we're going to bring in Dylan Cruz. The next task on the agenda was to sign a couple relief pitchers just to fill some spots in the minor leagues. So we got that taken care of. And here's a look at all of the transactions, or some of the recent transactions, from the Jordan Beck trade to get Christian Walker off the books to the arbitration signings, all the way to the last 2 trades that we just did. But that means we have some room on the 40-man to bring Franz Talbot to spring training, as well as Tremar Johnson. We want to give both those guys a shot to make the Major League roster this year. Not guarantees. They're definitely going to be position battles. And we'll see how those go next episode. Really not giving us the greatest grade so far for this offseason. I'm leaning towards about a C minus at this point as we take a look at the squad. It just feels like we didn't improve the offense as much as we planned to and talked about, at least in some comments, we're talking about missing a power bat, potentially, or just needing one more star player, and moving Walker, was that a step back? Potentially. We do have a long-term and short-term plan at first base with Walker being gone. Mayo, Talbot, Kirilloff are all the options there. Kirilloff will be our short-term one. I just feel like there's a piece still missing from this team. And as we're rambling, we're just kind of looking through all of the players that are going to be brought to spring training, that got a spring training invite this year from us. Kobe Mayo going to get another shot in the big leagues. Franz Talbot will get his first shot. Tremar Johnson will get his first shot. Going to be some interesting stories that develop over this spring training. We got a couple position battles we got to figure out. We got 39 men invited. It's going to be a good one. And we had some more business to take care of here. We're looking at long-term contracts for some players, and Jared Jones is absolutely one we want to give one to. Possibly Castro, a little bit longer of a deal as well. Get him locked in for maybe 2 or 3 more years. Try to just solidify this bullpen and this pitching rotation and make sure we have it in a good spot for long-term. We're going to go ahead and try to get Castro for 3 years, $10.5 million, pays him exactly what we're paying him now, but for an extra 3 years, so to be 5 years total with the team. He'll be 35 when this contract ends. I think that is worth the risk. We're going to give that a shot and see if he'll accept that deal. Loasiga, we want to do the same thing with. We did a good job last offseason with our relief pitching signings, and I think we want to lock them in a little bit longer before they start declining even more. Get the good years out of them. Caleb will do the same thing with. We'll get him for probably a little bit less than we got the other ones for, which he's asking for more money, so we will bump him up a little bit here and see if we can get him satisfied to lock him in until he's younger. He's 28. He's 29 still, so that's good. Got him locked in. But for the starting pitchers, I want to try to get Manuel Hernandez and Jared Jones locked in long term. I've seen enough from both of them. Skeens, I'm still on the fence. Harrington, I still want to see some more. But we'll see. We can get $4.6 million out of Hernandez here, and I think that is beyond a good deal for us. And the length of the deal being 8 years, pretty solid for us. He's here to stay long term. But he's still not accepting, so we have to bump up a little bit more. We're going to try $4 million a year, and we got him. I don't think we'll be able to get as much of a steal on Jared Jones as we did with Manuel Hernandez. We're going to have to offer him a lot more money if we want to go 10 years, if we want to go 8 years. But if we go down to 6 years, we could get away with around $10 million a year. We're going to try $8 million. He doesn't think that's enough. We're going to bump it up a little bit more, try 9 a year. See if that'll work. No go. I guess it's going to be 10. Well. We're taking a look at Nolan Jones. He did pop up on the trade finder for us, looking for a solid right fielder. We'd have to give up a whole lot to get him. Triolo, Langford, and possibly Acevedo that we just picked up. Like I said, he probably will be a trade piece. Going through this, trying things out. Bryce Eldridge, we know he's not going to work out on our team. We've kind of given up on him. Is this a trade that we want to make? Do we want to give up Triolo and Langford to get Nolan Jones, who is an absolute stud and would definitely be worth getting on this team? But is that too steep of a price to pay? I debated over this for quite a while, staring at his statistics. His arm is insane. His defense is pretty solid. This is just a solid player. But maybe we throw in Rhodes instead of Langford, and we get the deal done. And on that note, we're going to end this episode. Let me know what you think of our offseason. Is this team improving? Did we blow it up too much? What do you think of the changes? We'll see next episode how spring training goes and opening day. I'm Socksway Up. Thanks for hanging out.